Here are 10 underrated habits to lose fat and keep it off forever. So over the years, as I've gained more experience with training, I've realized that to lose fat and keep it off forever, it's not just about what you do inside of the gym that matters, but it's more about what you do outside of the gym, your daily habits and your lifestyle. You see, if your lifestyle sucks and you have bad habits, then the results aren't going to show. You could be training as hard as possible, but the results aren't going to show if you're not doing the work outside of the gym as well. And this can be demotivating and frustrating. You have that belly fat that you want to get rid of, but it's just not going away. So if you're someone struggling with belly fat and you want to lose it and keep it off forever, then here are 10 underrated habits to help you to do that. So let's get into it. So the first habit is accountability. Now, majority of people don't actually lose the fat because there's no one to hold them accountable. You see, they end up skipping the gym when they don't feel like training, and they end up cheating on their diet when they're just not in the mood and they don't have the motivation. But these are the days that actually matter, and these are the days that are going to take you to the next level. So during university, there was a period of time when I had a training partner who was also my closest friend. Now, during this period of time, we would wake up at 5 a.m. every single day and train at 6 a.m. And we would do this for a number of months. Now, this actually worked, and during this period of time, I was the most consistent with training early in the morning. And it's because I had a training partner. He was relying on me and I was relying on him. So therefore, I didn't want to miss days because I didn't want to let him down, and he didn't want to miss days because he didn't want to let me down. And so we both just got up early, whether we felt like it or not, and we just pushed and we trained. Now, this form of accountability is the best because you have someone relying on you, so you don't want to let them down. But when you have no one keeping you accountable, then you actually don't mind letting yourself down and letting yourself slip. Having a coach is probably one of the best ways to keep you accountable if you know you're not going to keep yourself accountable, because we'll be on your back 24/7 every single day to make sure you are doing the things that you need to do. But I'm not implying that you need to have a coach to keep yourself accountable. You can also just train with a friend like I did, or you can train with a group of people who are like-minded and who have similar goals to you. And you guys can keep each other accountable, guys can push each other, and you can do challenges where you push each other even more, because everyone likes challenges. Everyone wants to beat each other. So that's a great way of keeping everyone accountable and make sure you guys are just raising the bar and raising your standards. Training with a group of like-minded people, or just having a group of like-minded people, is just great for your self-development. You guys can elevate each other, push each other, and make each other better. And that way you're going to see great results and lose that stubborn belly fat. So if you are someone struggling to find a like-minded community, then my community of men are absolutely killing it. They've been able to make these awesome transformations, dropping kilos of fat, because we just hold each other accountable every single day and make sure we do the tasks that we need to do in order to transform and lose that stubborn belly fat. Now, if you're someone interested in transforming your life and you want to get into the best shape possible, then click the link in the description below, apply for my one-to-one coaching, and we'll see if you're a good fit for the program. So habit number 2 is walking. Now, walking is one of the most underrated fat loss techniques there is, and this is even backed by science. So in this research paper, people eating the exact same calorie deficit were separated into 2 groups. The only variable that was different in the 2 groups was the amount of walking they did. Group 1 didn't do any walking, and Group 2 did 20 minutes of walking a day. The results? Well, Group 2 lost 3.5 pounds more than Group 1 over the 12-week period, indicating that walking on a daily basis will help you to burn more fat, because overall you'll be burning more calories. Now, if you do 10,000 steps a day, you will approximately burn 500 calories. Now, over a week, that is 3,500 calories and also 1 pound of body fat. And over a year, that is 52 pounds of body fat that you will burn just by walking an extra 10,000 steps a day. Now, this is also taking into account that you're eating at a caloric maintenance on a daily basis. So here are 5 ways in which you can get more steps in throughout your day. Firstly, when you wake up, just go for a 20 to 30 minute walk in the morning. Secondly is after dinner, once you've eaten, go for another 20 to 30 minute walk. Thirdly is to plan your cardio in after your training session. So have a structured plan where you walk for an hour after your training session. And if you're doing a weightlifting session, then do this afterwards. Number 4 is to park further away from the gym and from supermarkets so you can get more steps in. And number 5 is that if you live on a high floor in an apartment building, then walk up the stairs instead of taking the elevator. All of this will help you to burn more calories and overall lose more body fat. You see, walking is one of the easiest and simplest ways to burn more calories. It's literally effortless. So whenever you can and whenever you get the chance, just walk more. Walk more so you can burn more calories and lose that stubborn body fat. So the third underrated habit is to drink more water. Now, most people don't drink enough water on a daily basis. Water will not only help you perform better and function better, but it's also a great appetite suppressant. So the more water you drink, the more full you will feel. Therefore, it will help you to stay in a calorie deficit. So here are 3 easy ways to help you implement more water into your diet. So firstly is when you wake up, just drink 500 milliliters to a liter of water. This will help you to flush out all the toxic chemicals and set you up nicely for the day. Secondly is to have a water timer app. So an alarm goes off every couple of hours to make sure you drink water. The reason why majority of people don't drink enough water is just because they forget. So by having this app and by having an alarm to go off every couple of hours, it will just remind you to drink more water throughout the day. And third is to just replace all other drinks with water. So if you're someone that consumes a lot of fizzy drinks and juices, then just replace this with water instead. And this will help you to hit your water intake for the day with ease. So the fourth habit is to consume more fibrous foods. Now, research has actually shown that people who consume more high fiber foods are able to stick to their diets better. And this is because higher fiber foods make you feel more satiated and they help to clean out your digestive system. And therefore you have more energy, and this mental boost will help you to stick to your diet. Now, what foods should you eat that contain high fiber? Well, here's a list of foods on the screen that I recommend. Start implementing these foods into your diet and you'll see how much of a difference it makes to your fat loss. Moving on to habit number 5, which is time-restricted feeding. Now, time-restricted feeding, also known as intermittent fasting, is a great hack to help you to lose body fat by keeping your calories low. Why? Because you only have a certain amount of time to eat, and usually this is around 8 hours. So the basis of intermittent fasting is that you have a small eating window, and for the rest of the day you fast. Now, 8 hours is generally not enough time to eat a lot of calories. In fact, it will be very hard for you to be in a calorie surplus when you just have 6 to 8 hours to eat. Therefore, it will help staying in a calorie deficit that much easier. Intermittent fasting is a great method to use for fat loss, as it helps to control your blood glucose. It keeps it stable throughout the day, ensuring that you don't get any spikes, as these spikes can lead to crashes and make you feel more hungry. By keeping your blood glucose at bay, you won't feel as hungry, and therefore it's more likely that you won't snack or overeat. Now, I have actually used this eating method on myself and many of my clients I have worked with, and I can confidently say that it has worked tremendously well. You see, they have a structured eating plan for the day, and they don't need to worry about eating every 2 to 3 hours. It just makes their life a whole lot more simple. Now, here's my transformation when I was doing intermittent fasting. I was able to lose a ton of body fat, and that's because my blood glucose levels were stable, and therefore I just wasn't hungry even though I was eating in a calorie deficit. So intermittent fasting is a great method to use if you want to lose fat. Now, number 6 is to have one refeed meal a week. Having one refeed meal a week is going to help you to satisfy your cravings while you're on a restrictive diet. Because here's the thing, when you're trying to lose weight and you're in a calorie deficit and you want to maintain as much muscle as possible, then you're not going to be able to eat whatever you want. Because when you eat whatever you want, you're not going to be able to hit your protein target. Hitting your protein target is going to ensure that you maintain as much muscle as possible and you still perform at your best while you're in a calorie deficit. Also, you want to be eating nutritious foods on a daily basis so you still can perform at your best even though you have low energy. And eating these nutritious foods aren't going to be the most satisfying. So you're going to crave certain foods from time to time, and these certain foods may be calorific. So by having one refeed meal a week, it's going to just satisfy your cravings and make sure you keep progressing and keep losing fat. Now, you don't want to have a whole day of refeeding, but you just want to have one refeed meal. By having a whole day, you're just going to go over your calories and you're going to lose all of the progress that you made during the week. Now, there are 2 ways in which you can implement a refeed meal in during the week. So one way to do this is by skipping a meal, and therefore you're going to save some calories for your refeed meal. But what I like to do is that I like to fast for the entire morning, and when my refeed meal comes, then even if it is quite calorific, I'm still able to stay within my calories because I've saved all of my calories for that refeed meal. So guys, implement one of these 2 strategies and you will still stay on track with your fat loss. So habit number 7 is to set an alarm before you go to sleep. Instead of setting an alarm for when you wake up, just set it before you go to bed, because that way you'll be able to sleep on time and wake up on time, and therefore get a sufficient amount of sleep in. So getting a good amount of sleep in is an underrated habit that majority of people look over. When you are sleep deprived, your body's hormones change, and therefore you'll feel more hungry and make worse decisions when it comes to food. When you are feeling tired and hungry, it's more likely that you're going to consume foods that are going to be detrimental to your fat loss and that aren't very calorie friendly. Also, with a lack of sleep, your body is going to start using muscle for energy instead of the fat stores, and this is going to be counterproductive to the goal of building muscle and losing fat. Now, one way to overcome this lack of sleep is just by simply setting an alarm for when you go to bed. Set an alarm for when you sleep, whether that be 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. That way you won't stay up for longer during the night and miss crucial hours of sleep. This will help you to increase your energy and improve your focus throughout the day. Not to mention that getting a good amount of sleep in will add years onto your life. Now, if you do struggle with sleep, then a good idea would be to stop eating 2 to 3 hours before bed to give your body enough time to digest the food. And also to stop watching screens 1 hour before bed and set your room to dark and cool conditions. Now, number 8 is to have a higher carb to fat ratio unless you're on keto. Remember, your body's prime energy source is glucose from carbohydrates. Now, majority of people make the mistake of going on a low carb diet, and therefore they have no energy, they have a lack of sleep, and their performance sucks. If you're on a low carb diet, then your performance may suffer and you can actually end up losing more muscle mass than maintaining it. So therefore you'll be losing muscle mass and you could possibly end up gaining fat, which is the opposite of what we want to do. So here's one way to include more carbs into your diet without it affecting your calories. If you are on a low carb diet and your fats are a little bit high, then I recommend to cut down on your fats to the minimum threshold that is required to maintain good hormonal balance and brain function, and then to increase your carbs so you have enough energy throughout the day so you can perform better. Also, if you are on a low carb diet, then you can actually end up not being able to do your job properly and skipping workouts if you really are that tired and you're out of energy. Try and keep your carbs onto the higher side so you do have energy and so you don't end up losing muscle mass. Habit number 9 is weighing yourself every day after using the bathroom. You're basically just going to be using this as a body analysis tool. You'll be collecting the data, analyzing the data on a weekly basis, indicating if you need to change any variables. If everything you're doing is working well, then you'll see an overall downward trend in your weight on a weekly basis. But if things aren't working well, then you'll see a stagnation, or you'll see that the weight is going up. Now, if this happens, don't panic. Just use it as data and see what needs to be changed, whether that needs to be your training, your cardio, or your diet. Then you can change one of the variables and see if your weight starts to drop again. And if your weight starts to drop again, then you know that's the variable that was causing you to stagnate, and you can carry on losing body fat. Your weight every day should only be used as data and nothing else. Do not get emotionally attached to your weight, because then you can end up developing an eating disorder, and you can start to lose confidence in yourself if your weight doesn't drop. Now, if you're someone that will get emotionally attached to the weight, then I don't recommend weighing yourself every day. But if you're someone that just uses it as data and you won't get emotionally attached, then weigh yourself every day, use it as data, analyze the data on a weekly basis, and change the variables that need to be changed so you can carry on dropping body fat. And the final habit is to eat and prioritize protein. So firstly, protein will help you to build more muscle mass. Secondly, protein will help you to feel more satiated throughout the day. So out of the 3 macronutrients of carbs, fats, and proteins are by far the most satiating, meaning that it will help you to feel fuller for longer. And when it comes to losing body fat and being in a calorie deficit, this will help a ton. Protein will help to boost your metabolism as it has the highest thermic effect of food compared to carbs and fats, meaning that it takes the most energy to break down. Therefore, you'll be burning more calories when you eat more protein compared to carbs and fats. So all of these habits are going to help you to perform better and lose that fat. But ultimately, you need to be in a calorie deficit. If you're not in a calorie deficit, then you're not going to lose the weight. So guys, if you have stubborn belly fat to lose, then I recommend using my calorie calculator. The link is in the description below. Use it to calculate your maintenance calories, then subtract 200 to 500 calories from that number and stick to those amount of calories every single day. You'll be in a calorie deficit and you'll lose that stubborn body fat. And guys, if you enjoyed the video and found it helpful, then do me a favor and smash the like button. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoy my content, then do me another favor and hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications. And if you want to learn about the ketogenic diet, which in my opinion is one of the best diets for fat loss, then I recommend watching this video next. And remember, stay natty, stay clean, and peace.